The bees go buzzing one by one, hurrah, hurrah. The bees go buzzing one by one, hurrah, hurrah. The bees go buzzing one by one, the little one stops to have some fun.
Good morning and afternoon and evening, depending on whichever part of the world you are in. This is your host, Ravi Thamija, and the host of Tap Into Life, a podcast on Spotify and multiple other channels across the world. We meet eclectic folks from different parts of life, talk about their life and lifestyle, and very, very happy to have my colleague and someone who comes with a very eclectic background, Archana Kumar. We are not only going to talk about Archana, but we're also going to talk about a lot of work we do together today. And I believe that, serendipity plays a big part, a big role in our lives. And my meeting Archana was quite serendipitous. I mean, I love theater, I like photography, and that's how we sort of first met. And then we've collaborated and done quite a lot of work together. And we're going to talk about that also today. So Archana, welcome to the show. Tap Into Life, and thank you for being with us. I'd like to ask you about your journey, how it began, what drives you, what you do, what brings you alive, and what gets people around you alive with what your talents are. So over to you.
Yes. Thank you so much for inviting me and having me over in one of your podcast sessions. So yes, for me, I am primarily a movement artist. So I started my career learning one particular Indian classical dance form, and it was very intense. Then I kind of moved on to another classical Indian dance form, and so a lot of technique in terms of different movement styles. That's what I grew up learning, and I just realized that this is how I can express myself the best and in the most authentic fashion. And so it's a continued fascination for me. How can I challenge my moving body? And the human body's potential is much more than one can imagine, or kind of we come with preconceived notions of, oh, this is all I can do, or this is all that I cannot do. And so that, I think, dance movement, for me at least personally, has helped me kind of push those boundaries and say that, okay, this is something else. So it's always that need of, okay, now I know this, and I need another new challenge, and so I go on to another new form. Like so it started from Bharatanatyam to Kathak, flamenco, then contemporary dance, and then a Japanese physical theater form, which is very internal. So because it was everything was physical up to a point, superficial. You're learning the technique, you understand musculature of the body, the skeletal structure, what these set of muscles can do for you in this movement, and yada yada, and then it's like, how else can I then dig deeper into myself? So I have to get into my internal space. But at that time, what is the knowledge, or like what are the opportunities in front of me that I'm exposed to? At that time, then it was Buto. So Buto is a physical theater. It's contemporary physical theater form of Japan, but it's it's more of a philosophy. I see it as a philosophy as opposed to a technique form. Though these days it's there are a lot of things out there where there are different schools of thought, like in any form, to popularize it and so on. But how I have been taught and mentored on in Buto is understanding the less is more kind of thing, like really less is more, and get into the minimalistic aspect of movement. And that was hard. So it took me about 5 years to actually understand what my sensei was, my mentor was, would talk about. And he would just kind of brush it aside, saying that, oh, sorry, my English not so good. But I don't think that's what, that was the truth. He was pushing, I think that's his style. It kind of pushes the student, so me in this case, to really question further and understand, like, why am I doing this? For 1 hour, there was one exercise where we had to just move 1 centimeter at a time. 1 centimeter. I mean, you don't have a scale measuring that 1 centimeter, but what is it inside you? What is it in terms of movement? Are you really moving? but there's never really any stillness. There's all kinds of things moving inside your body, you know. So, and then after all of that, recently last year, I met you, and then I got introduced to. I knew about these forms, but I don't think I got the opportunity or had the mindset. Not mindset. It's not like I didn't want to expose myself or like try out these ancient practices. Other martial arts was always part of my movement practice, but nothing specific, nothing saying that, okay, let me now dig deeper into this and then understand how it affects my body. So,
Fascinating.
urban fitness, yeah.
Fascinating. In fact, what I hear from you, and once I get started on urban fitness, it's difficult to stop me. So I'm going to just take 30 seconds on that. But what I hear from you is quite fascinating. What you're talking about is movement has its own intelligence. It has helped you um, push boundaries. It has its own language. It has no language. It has its
Yeah.
own rhythm, but yet
Yes.
you got to find your own rhythm. It has
Yeah.
its own creativity. It may seem that some things came to you later, but they also
Yeah.
found you when you were ready, I guess,
Yeah. Time.
right?
Yes.
And
Absolutely.
I think it was Murakami or somebody who said this, that I moved, therefore I am.
Ah. Right. Right.
I
Right.
think it's a beautiful phrase, and I remember using this about 7 8 years back when we launched Urban Fitness Index Arch. We actually
Right.
had this as a tagline for Urban Fitness Index: I move, therefore I am.
Wow.
I'm sure there are purists out there who will debate this. How can it be this move? But in the Eastern philosophy, and you talked about it being a way of life, many of these things that you
Yeah.
have learned, um, the movement by itself is considered feminine. And we are in the century age of Aquarius, which is the age of the feminine. And there is an expression
Wow.
today, yeah, this century, and which
What's
is
this
why you see
mean?
the resurgence of women, both from leadership to movement. But
Ah.
this
No
philosophy,
wonder.
this
Wow.
philosophy actually talks about it, that every movement in the universe, from the breeze to the rain to the movement of my
Amazing.
heart, it is all considered feminine as per the Eastern philosophy. And coming back, it has so much of an expression through a performing artist. So I've always been fascinated since my teenage, and I've practiced some of these things. But like I said, today it's about you, Arch, when you were starting out talking about this and about our programs. And you started talking about urban fitness. I mean, we founded Urban
Yeah.
Fitness in 2014 with a very simple objective that we need to energize people. And quite honestly, I didn't know we will be doing what we are doing today at that point of time. Sometimes you
Yeah.
carve out your path as you are moving along, but you just take the plunge. And today we have programs Brahmri and Puja. But I'd be curious to, and I'm sure the audience out there would like to hear from you. We've been working
Yeah.
closely together on what Brahmri is to you, what Urja is to you, and what we are doing for the people out there.
Yes. 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 All right. Yeah. Like I was saying, so as of today, as of now, that transition happened. I got, like introduced something to something brand new and fascinating, and a lot more internal and a lot more. Yeah. For me as a mover, new information, anything related to the movement is definitely going to pique my curiosity and say that, okay, I'm going to try this out more. I have to figure this out. So yeah, and then when I joined in last year, there was Brahmari is yes, this unique term that I remember how we came up with it, and you had given me the task of thinking of a creature, a being. So being that would symbolize this. So yeah. So what I want to say is Brahmari is, to me, yes, it symbolizes this everlasting energy, eternal energy. This energy that is there in all of us, and it comes in different forms and speeds and styles, and we have to uh, tap into it. tap into it. So there you go. So
Absolutely.
so it was, yeah, I remember like thinking like, what is it that can suggest this, symbolizes what creature, I was thinking of something first. I was thinking of, I think after your thoughts and suggestions, we came up with some. With, I think the eagle. There was the bird, and then I was thinking a land animal, four-legged. No. Then the bee, and just the idea of like if you look at the bee, it's incredible. Like the amount, the speed, or the amount of energy it gives out when it's flapping those its wings. That itself is. When you look at it, I feel energized when I even imagine myself buzzing around. So there's this buzz, buzz around, and that itself kind of gives me this feeling of like, yeah, if you think of it, buzzing, this buzzing energy. As soon as that word itself kind of triggers something in my psyche, like I feel like, oh yeah, yes, yes, yes. Like you feel light, or I feel there's a sensation that comes. Tapping into that.
Words can energize, and I think there
Yeah.
is we look at human benchmarks. People look at people and say, I want to be like that person, I want to be like this person. But imagine looking at God's own creations, who have their own
Yeah.
beauty, intelligence, movement, things we can't do. I mean, I can't fly like a bee. Even
Yeah.
bee doesn't know that aerodynamically, bumblebee doesn't know it is not supposed to fly, but it doesn't know it,
Exactly.
so it keeps flying.
Yeah.
So there is beauty in nature, there is beauty in movement. And in Brahmari, we
Yes.
said we will take a lot of these ancient movements. We call them tap with the anchor
Yeah.
practice. But they started somewhere, uh, during the 28th Buddha times, Bodhidharma's time. But a lot of these movements are nature inspired, aren't they? Would you like to
Yes.
talk
Yes.
about some of
Yes.
these movements as to what they mean to use in practicing
Oh,
them?
yes. 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 Yeah. I mean, like what we share, most of the, I think the most popular one. Maybe I can talk about that. The bow and arrow, and I think that's a great one. Like you always say, it. I mean, in the technique aspect, or like in the idea of like how every muscle is kind of
Engaged.
energy is engaged and stretched out, and it's done in a very uh, unintrusive manner, like the participant, the person who is performing it, you don't realize it, but it's there, so certain things are not said, so you have to feel it. So I think and bow and arrow, so like that, like like, so you do embody the spirit of this warrior, when you are holding that, and you imagine that you have this bow in your hand and you have the arrow, and I feel powerful. It's really
Well, we
fascinating,
came up with a chant. Why don't you tell our audience the chant that we use and what does it mean?
Oh yes, 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 yes. Oh yes, of course. Yes. The unique chant. It goes like this. It goes uh, Yodhante Atma, which means the spirit of a warrior. Nirante Manasu, so like mind of like water, flowing. And Maradante Deha, so your body like a tree, so firm, like if you think of this big, huge banyan tree, like the trunk of the tree.
The way you said it, I got goosebumps right now.
Oh,
So words can really speak to your subconscious.
yes,
And our
they can.
audience, I know a lot of folks in the police and across, women across, they have actually gone back and taken this chant. I mean, we were talking to Rajiv Bajaj, the chairman of Bajaj
Yes,
Capital, and he said he wanted to, make it an institutional sort of a chant, take it out there. It's a very universal thing.
incredible.
So I think Brahmari has its own life, and I think it's
Yes,
changing lives. It is energizing people the way we want it, and we found the right symbol, if I may.
yes, yes,
And many of our team members have come together, and you've seen it up close and personal. And the other day we were at a police office where one of our colleagues actually saw the yellow and black bee right out there. So she was busy taking a photograph, saying, "I'm seeing this
wow,
big black bee." So right now that symbolism is speaking to people in different
yes,
ways. And I remember
yes,
some of my
yes,
friends asking me, saying, what do you do for kids? And quite honestly,
yeah,
before I go there, we also realized that our background was, we wanted to pick up the ancient practice, we wanted to pick up modern practice, we wanted to bring the
Yeah.
best, we wanted to sing the music, we wanted to speak to the
Yeah.
mind, the subconscious, because like you said, that 1 centimeter movement, you have to feel it
Yes.
internally from the inside. And I
Yes.
think Brahmari is that internal movement. It's meditative,
Yes.
but it's very, very powerful in the way it
Yes.
energizes, right? Just simply the act of holding my fist and pulling it back.
Pull it
Right now, it's giving
itself.
me that. I've not even gotten up
Yeah.
from my desk,
Yeah. Yeah.
feeling. And then came
Absolutely.
Urja to, we said we serve the kids, and I don't know where it came from. It just came out.
Yeah.
But do talk to us about Urja, and we just recently did a pilot at community school. So do talk to us about that and your first experience with the pilot, and I'd love to. I'm
Yes.
sure audience would love to hear about it.
Yes, yes, yeah. So Urja is a similar program where you're combining ancient and now modern practices, and of course, like the children are the future, the next generation, and and it's most important. I feel this is the need of the hour to kind of share this practice and have them encourage them to initiate or like to embody it in their daily whatever they do. And what better way than how can we get going with that is introduce it to schools at school time. And so we had this pilot program for the children, middle school children at this community school, and I believe it was a great success. We got some great feedback and reviews. Children wanted us to come back. They've said, when are you? They've already said, we are waiting for the next session. And I think it is because there was a realization. Again, these things are felt, like we said, like though words do, yes, they do have a lot of power. When you state a certain word, and like maradante deha, like the trunk of a tree, that kind of says something inside your imagining. But other than that, there's the unsaid thing, right? So for children, I think this program is ideal. It's perfect because without saying too much, they are feeling it. And they are children, so they don't need to, I think, use as, words are, I guess, they don't need to use so many words to explain. They felt great. It was new information. It was so all of those things, I think, played really well. And it was
And I remember you and
it
I were
was
talking, and you were saying, I don't know how the kids will take it. Even I didn't know, right? It's the first time we are going
exactly.
out, we are thinking,
Yeah.
and I think it was overwhelming the way kids participated.
Yeah.
The kind of
Yeah.
sound bites they gave us after that. They were talking to us about it.
Yes.
I think they energized us. It's not just
Yes.
the one-way street.
Yes.
We get
Yeah,
energized
I'm
too.
curious. I want to share, but you'll remember. One child, she said something. One of the children said something very interesting about.
Most of them did. So one of the kids said, I remember, I feel the universe is inside of me. The cosmos
That
is
was
inside
one.
of me.
Yes,
Then
amazing.
somebody else who loved dance said that it spoke to my capabilities. And I remember this kid, and most of them have these amazing climbing capabilities. I think everybody will be climbing Mount Everest very soon. Yeah? They were up the tree before I could take my next breath. And one of them climbs up and all, and our colleague is like focusing her camera onto him, and he's saying, I didn't think I had it in me because it's such a strenuous workout. I didn't think I had the ability. And I'm looking at him, bugger. You're sitting on the top of the roof, right? You climbed up they call themselves monkeys. They're self-proclaimed monkeys. I think monkeys have significance, like we take inspiration from
Yes.
the universe. Those kids are already deriving inspiration. Look at their abilities. But he said, I went on sheer willpower.
Willpower, yeah. That's
And now I can go back, and I know I can do it. It's a way of life. And then there was this girl who came in that I now learned that today my right fist makes me create a new memory, and my left fist, she said, makes me recall it. And while doing that, she was recalling all of that. Of course, she took a little bit of a help for the first time. But it was such a simple neuropsychology-based tool which was used during Gautam Buddha's time, during Bodhidharma's time. But today
Amazing.
scientists have realized that athletes
Yes.
use it because of the scientists'
Yes.
realization how
Yeah.
important a role it plays.
Yeah.
And energy feeling, you spoke about. I think
Yeah.
a lot in our life shifts. Things get better. We do things better. We respond to people better. We are able to do our
Yeah.
work better across. Once we work on that energy. And how did you
Yes.
feel the energy feeling was in both Brahmari and Urja programs? Brahmari we've conducted for hundreds of police women and men now across Karnataka. We've conducted it for 200
Yes.
plus audience for Bajaj. We were together in Delhi,
Yes. Yes.
doing that.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
then we had this bunch of high energy kids
Yes.
who, and you were
Yeah.
like a rock star on that stage. I remember once the Shake It Off, the song came on,
Shake.
right? You were in the flow. And that girl was also saying, after that, we just shake it off.
Shake it off. Yeah, exactly. That was like the perfect culmination, I felt, For Urja, I think it really came together really well, really well. I think most overall, the effect, I mean, the feeling that all participants have shared is they are feeling refreshed and they are feeling light, so they feel like more calm. And so all of that, they say, so, and why is that? That's because
And I think
they're
that's something which
inside.
has been consistent across wherever we've gone.
Yes.
People have said they feel calm and they feel energized. And for me, the
Yeah.
challenge was always there, right? How do I bring everything together? How do we bring
Yes.
everything together? And
Yeah.
thanks to a great team that we have now, all of
Yes.
us coming
Absolutely.
together who are very committed to this. And bringing that energy feeling to the world. I always say this, we don't create it, we channelize it. That energy already
Yes.
exists in the universe.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But there's tremendous
Yeah.
energy inside. And once it connects, well, magic happens.
Yes. Magic happens, and you have to just experience it. So, yeah,
Oh, awesome. Keep
great.
making the magic and keep doing what you are doing. And to the
Yes.
audience out there, I think this conversation holds a lot for me for working with,
Yeah.
Archana on these programs, the collaborations we do, the work we do that changes life, impacts life. And for you folks out there, you can visit urbanfitness.in to know more. You can also go to Urban Fitness webpage. Apart from that, you can visit us on LinkedIn. You can go on Instagram to our uf.fitness handle and visit us. And keep supporting us. Keep going
Yes.
with us. And we hope to look forward to meeting with you folks again. And Archana, thank you very much. You've taken time out this morning to talk to us. Much appreciated.
My pleasure. Yes, no, my pleasure. Yeah, absolutely. Anything related to Brahmari and energy, I'm in anytime.
Awesome.
Because we have to inspire. Yes.
You have a great day ahead, and to the audience out there,
Yes.
adios.
Yes. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Take care.